On the debut episode of PREVIEWSworld Weekly, we're going to talk a little about Marvel turning 80, IDW turning 20, Walking Dead Day, and all those New York Comic-Con trailers. It goes down right now. What's up, Previews World? You're probably scrolling through your timeline right now on Facebook or YouTube, wondering who are these people, why are they talking to me, how did they get here? Well, this is PREVIEWSworld Weekly. I am one of your co-hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
And I'm Thea, and we're going to be here every week to remind you to stop at a comic shop to get involved in what's happening in the world of comics. Speaking of which, let's take a look at what's new in comic shops right now. Anamia, take it away.
Hey Previews World, Anamia here. Do you know what new comics are coming out this week? No? Well, let's take a look. Here's what's at comic shops. Is that it? No way. Your friendly local comic shop has something for every type of customer. So stop at a comic shop today and I'll see you back here next week.
Plenty of eye candy at your local comic shop this week. Me personally, I'm looking forward to, one of the things I'm looking forward to is Comic Cavalcade, Cursed Comic Cavalcade.
Yeah.
It's a cool little anthology book. It's a bit of a throwback to the golden era. Like they had the golden age, they had a book called Comics Cavalcade back in the day, and now they're doing a horror anthology. It's got James Tynion, it's got Batman, and all this other stuff. So yeah, I like the little anthology stuff. You get a little glimpse of the DC universe.
Yeah, you're getting a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. Bang for your buck. What are you looking forward to?
I like Oblivion Song. It's personally one of my favorites. It's a supernatural sci-fi book, so it's got some cool stuff going on. It takes place in apocalyptic Philadelphia, and it follows this guy as he tries to save a whole bunch of people who like disappeared during an event.
Yeah, there's Robert Kirkman. He seems to love his post-apocalyptic realities, actually.
It's a big thing. It's a big thing.
It's a thing for him. And we're going to talk a little bit about Walking Dead in a little bit. But the other thing I'm looking forward to is Wrong Earth. I actually had the pleasure of talking to Tom Payer, who is the editor-in-chief of Ahoy Comics, who releases Wrong Earth, and Stuart Moore, who's another one of the editors. And like the cool thing is, one of the things they talked about like quite a bit was making smart, funny comics, injecting comics with fun again, like you know, not being so self-serious. And they gave me a copy of the book. I didn't get it from my comic shop. I'll snitch on myself a little bit.
Tisk.
But they gave me the book and I read it and it's really fun. And like the best way I could describe it is, it's like, imagine if like 66 Batman, if Adam West Batman met Ben Affleck's Batman. And like, you know, he pretty much just crosses into a portal and he looks around and he's like, why are you so angry, bro? You know, so, I mean, it's just,
that's cool.
Right, yeah. And it's like, you know, I mean, it's a classic, like, you know, multiverse kind of story, but I feel like they're going to do some just breaking down of the character and kind of understanding why superheroes are fun again. So I'm looking forward to issue number 2, which is out this week.
I think that's something we need right now too.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other one, so the other book I'm really looking forward to is Animosity. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, this is a really cool book. It's another sort of apocalyptic thing going on, which apparently is a theme with me.
You're right.
Their line here is, one day the animals woke up. They started thinking. They started talking. They started taking revenge. So they definitely have something cool going on here. And the storyline follows a dog and his girl who are going to be trying to escape New York City and make it to supposed safety out in San Francisco.
Oh, okay. All right, nice. Yeah, and like the cool thing about Marguerite Bennett is actually, well, first of all, I got to do an interview with her at Baltimore Comic-Con.
Nice.
And I was kind of pleasantly surprised by how much enthusiasm she has when she talks about Animosity, but her projects in general, because she has a lot of other books out there, but Animosity in particular, and like people love the book. Like it's a very popular book, and someone who has lived with cats before, I can tell you that they probably are plotting against it. So
it's true.
There you go. Speaking of post-apocalyptic realialities, Walking Dead Day is this weekend.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so Walking Dead Day is going to be, it's October 13th, this Saturday, and we've got a lot of cool stuff happening. So if you go down to your local comic shop, while supplies last, there is a very special new comic.
Yep, there
right?
you go. marked TWD Day Special.
Yep, this guy's got 4 new never-before-seen stories in it, so you guys should go check that out.
All right.
Definitely some cool stuff.
All right.
And they're going to be giving some stuff away. We've got some cool bookmarks going on here, right? Some neat little things.
For your Walking Dead trade paperback.
Yep.
All
Very
Charlie
fancy.
Adler artwork too. Which is really
And
nice.
we've
What else
got these buttons, right?
Yeah, buttons.
Very cool buttons.
There you
Everybody always needs some more buttons,
Commemorating 15 years of Walking Dead.
right? You can never have too many buttons.
Yeah, it's true.
And they've got these neat zombie masks that are
These are really cool, actually.
Yeah.
Like, this is like a cheat for Halloween.
Right, yeah. Easy Halloween costume.
Yeah.
Grab one of these suckers, pop it on, get some ripped up clothes, and you're a zombie, right?
Right, exactly.
Nailed it. And then we have a very cool variant.
Yeah, this is
Cover
So this
comic.
one, it tells you on the front that it's issue 100.
Yeah.
But you don't know what the cover is. And so issue 100, this is, of course, this entire 15th anniversary event is part of like celebrating all 15 years of Walking Dead. And I did a horrible job at ripping this open.
Ooh.
That's okay though. Oh, it's pre-opened. There you go. Thank you, whoever opened this before me. And look at that. That's oh yeah, nice variant cover.
Oh, yeah.
And like it's a blind bag variant, so you don't quite know what you're going to get every single time, but this is issue 100 and there's a cover that you have never seen before. And like, you know, some of the blind bag variants are for issue number 1 and, you know, issue 100 clearly.
Yeah.
Just really running the gamut of like the last 15 years of Walking Dead.
Very
so
cool.
if you're a fan, there you go.
There you go. You get all these kinds of goodies. And then there's also going to be available this really sweet box set.
This is very cool.
It is epic. This thing is huge. It's heavy. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Could you say that you could kill a zombie with this?
You could definitely kill a zombie with
All right,
this.
cool.
It is heavy enough to wield as a blunt instrument.
Right. Read it first, but
Yes, but then, by all means,
Yeah, look at this
save
thing.
yourself.
This thing's a monster, yeah. And like this is pretty much most of the series at this point.
Yeah, it's got Compendium 1, 2, 3, and then it's got the little Negan special here
Yeah,
too.
right.
So, and it's my favorite color.
And you can win this, right?
You can win this. We're going to be giving this away. So comment below, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, whatever. Let us know who your favorite Walking Dead character is, and you could win this beautiful box of books.
All right. And maybe if we're nice, we'll throw in all the Walking Dead Day stuff too. Although I might keep the mask.
It is tempting.
There you go. So New York Comic Con was this past week, and we got plenty of cool stuff to talk about. A lot of comic news, and so Thea's gonna get us up to speed, and we're gonna talk about like all the comings and goings within the comics industry these last couple of days.
Yeah, so there's a lot of big news right now. We've got a lot of anniversaries happening. First up, Marvel is celebrating its 80th anniversary. So for those of you that may not know, Marvel Comics began in 1939 as Timely Comics, later incorporated Atlas Comics, and then rebranded as Marvel Comics in the early 60s. So they've announced a series of one-shots that are going to include the lineup of Marvel Comics Presents, War is Hell, Crypt of Shadows, and Journey into Unknown Worlds. And each of these titles carries at least a 30-year history with Marvel, so there's some pretty cool old pieces in there. And that's all going to be available beginning in January of 2019. Next up, we've got DC announced at New York Comic Con that Brian Michael Bendis is going to lead a new imprint called Wonder Comics that's going to be focused on young adult readers. So this line's going to expect to kick off in early 2019 and it's going to include titles Naomi, Wonder Twins, and Dial H for Hero. So IDW also has an anniversary, and they're celebrating 20 years with an all-new weekly event called IDW 2020. So this will let you explore some of pop culture's most iconic properties like Ghostbusters, Gem and the Holograms, Star Trek, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. These are all personal favorites of mine, for sure. So these are all going to be one-shot specials that are also going to be coming out in January of 2019. And in addition, IDW has a really cool 6-part Star Trek crossover coming out. And it's going to have all of Starfleet's most legendary officers. We've got James T. Kirk, Jean-Luc Picard, Catherine Janeway, and Benjamin Sisko joining together for the first time against some of the greatest threats they've ever faced. So this is Star Trek: The Q Conflict, and it's going to be available with multiple covers starting in January. So finally, we have 2 big announcements from Diamond Select Toys. They've acquired 2 new licenses that are really super cool. First off, we got Bruce Lee. So for decades, Bruce Lee has fascinated the world with his groundbreaking martial arts philosophy and on-screen charisma. And this stuff actually comes at a really opportune time, as this year was the 45th anniversary of Enter the Dragon, which was his final film before his death. So DST is partnering with his family to produce a line of collectibles that'll pay tribute to the man and his legacy. And the first item of this is going to be a gallery PVC diorama depicting him in action, executing one of his trademark forms. So the second license they've acquired is Castlevania. And this is a personal favorite of mine as a fan of gaming. For 22 years, the world of Castlevania has enthralled video game enthusiasts with its adventure-oriented take on the Dracula mythos. And of course, in 2017, the animated series came out on Netflix, and that was overwhelmingly positively received. So we've got some really cool stuff coming out. DST is going to be offering a ton of new products. So we've got select action figures, gallery PVC dioramas, Vinimates, vinyl figures, and Minimates, minifigures, resin statues, and a whole lot more.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you? I love the Netflix show. Netflix show was great.
Yes, it was very cool.
Yeah, it was very cool.
I can't wait for it to
I didn't
continue.
expect it to be that great, actually.
No, yeah, it was definitely, it came out of nowhere as like, whoa, okay, they did it justice, you know? So.
And cool fact, Warren Ellis, written by Warren Ellis, comics Warren Ellis. Definitely
What
a
do you
comic
know?
guy. So $1 million question, because we were talking about this earlier, off camera. Trekkies or Trekkers?
Trekkies.
See, I've been told Trekkers. Like
I've never heard that in my life.
I was corrected one time and felt very stupid and was told Trekkers. So, and I've been saying Trekkies all my life. So, if you know, let us know. Leave a comment.
Trekkies or Trekkers?
All these headlines are ripped from our website, of course, and our website is being updated as we speak. So head on over to PREVIEWSworld.com for more. And now we're going to check out some more. We're going to talk a little bit about toys and check out the toys that actually hit stores this week. Double the Harley this week. We got 2 Harley items, but we actually have one in the studio right now. This is the red, white, and black Harley by Philip Ton. Now, Philip, the cool thing about these DC collectibles, this particular series, is that they're based off of existing artists and like their particular trademark style.
Yeah.
And Philip Ton did the X-Men. He's done Spawn, and so like it's always cool to kind of see like a 3-dimensional version of like these typically 2D like images that you see on printed pages.
For sure.
But we're gonna give this away.
Yes, we are. So here we go. Another giveaway. What? So we're gonna be giving away this particular Harley right here. She's beautiful. So again, comment below, YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're watching us, and let us know what your favorite Harley Quinn storyline is. And we will pick one of you guys to win her.
There you go. And everybody knows that it's Mad Love, so there you go. And we'll be right back. We're going to show you a trailer for Murder Falcon, which I'm pretty excited about. Check it out. It's from Image Comics. That was Murder Falcon by Daniel Warren Johnson. I actually had a chance to read a little sneak peek ashcan, one of the perks of working here. It's actually pretty awesome. It's from Daniel Warren Johnson, like I mentioned, and it's from the guy who he also did Extremity, and he's got a very like kind of anime manga influenced style,
For sure.
and it totally plays off here. Their initial pitch was that it's Kung Fury meets Metalocalypse.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
have you seen Kung Fury?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things like. You pretty much named everything I loved.
Right. Yeah, what a combo of stuff to just
Right.
go, oh.
Right.
yes, please put these together and make a story about them.
Exactly.
Like,
The first issue is in comic shops today. You should check it out. We're going to kick it over now and talk a little bit about New York Comic Con. There were tons of trailers that debuted this week, and you guys had some opinions about them. And so now we're going to get into the murky waters of the social swamp right along with you.
So we over here at Previews World asked you guys to let us know what it was you thought of all these new trailers that dropped, and we got a few responses. So we've got, of course, the Daredevil Season 3 trailer came out, and a couple of you guys are real hyped. We've got Russell Allen saying, Daredevil got this man hyped, and Matt Barham just saying, Daredevil! Like, what more do you need? It's
Right.
a lot of excitement, definitely.
A lot of single word answers,
Yes,
right?
yeah, but I mean, you don't really need to say much more. It's got a lot going for it.
It does, yeah.
And then we've got some Aquaman, of course, also really cool. And Marty has posted that he posted the extended trailer on his Facebook page minutes after watching it. And he says, I can only hope that future DC movies will be able to emulate the levels of fun, excitement, and epic scale that was on display in the trailer. Aquaman is the epic roadmap to a bigger, better DC cinematic universe. Hashtag read the map.
That's actually pretty hilarious. Marty Grosser. He works for Previews World, actually, and I guess he had a lot of opinions about.
But it's for sure
Right,
very
right.
true. Like the lightheartedness is very obvious, so
Yeah.
it's good to see that coming out of DC.
No, it surprised me. I got to be honest. Like I'm a bit of a film nerd, so when they told me it was James Wan directing, I was kind of like, hey, he does horror. I didn't really care for Fast and the Furious 7, which he also did, which is kind of random. But they found the right tone with this thing. Like I feel like it's fun, which
sure.
people have been asking from the DCEU for a while now. Yeah. And I know a lot of people are skeptical. Family Guy has done everything in his power to bury Aquaman for like season upon season.
Yep.
And personally, I haven't read a lot of Aquaman, but the ones I have read, primarily, my favorite has always been the Peter David Aquaman, which he looks like Jason Momoa in those versions. Like he has the hook hand, he was kind of a tough guy, and I'm really digging this interpretation of him where he's a surfer dude, and people seem to really like resonate with it.
I think it's something that people can connect with.
Yeah, right,
so.
Exactly. And that rooftop sequence is just awesome.
Yes.
I'm such a sucker for stuff like that.
Well,
so,
yeah, good action. Why not?
Explodey
right?
things, people running, I'm all for
It's
it.
good. We'll take it.
Yeah, so hopefully Seth MacFarlane owes him an apology by the end of this Aquaman.
Right, yeah, for sure.
What about you? What were you into?
American Gods Season 2 is going to be coming out, right? And Season 1 was pretty great, and the book is awesome. I love Neil Gaiman. Storyteller to the max.
Yeah.
So let's just hope that Season 2 is going to be just as good.
All right. I know a lot of people love that show. I haven't gotten around to watching it yet,
Recommend
but I
it.
feel like I should read the novel first, or the Dark Horse comics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The novel's great. The comic's great. Solid line.
Neil Gaiman, sign of quality.
It's very true.
I am big on Deadly Class. I've been reading Deadly Class through Image Comics for quite some time now. I'm actually going back and collecting all the old issues just because I loved it so much.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a perfect combination of things I love. It's the Russo brothers, who did, of course, Infinity War. It's Rick Remender, who I've always been a fan of since like his Uncanny X-Force days. And this is an adaptation of his comic. It takes place in the 1980s. It's got assassins. It's a school of assassins. I've kind of always, when I pitch it to people, I'm like, when I pitch the comic to people, I've always kind of told them it's kind of like the X-Men, but instead of mutants, they're assassins. So it's like a school of them.
Cool.
And they're just all dysfunctional and all awful to each other all the time. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like they haven't shown us a lot for this show, like it's on Sci-Fi.
Right.
But the little bit I've seen, I'm like, Russo's, Remender, I'm in. I'm totally down for it.
Sign me up.
Yeah. What about, was there anything else you were?
The Mortal Engines movie.
Yeah,
That looks really cool. And the book, great book. It's by Philip Reeve. And it's got that whole steampunk, another sort of apocalyptic kind of thing, right?
You and these post-apocalypse, all right.
But I mean, it looks gorgeous, honestly. And the machinery they've got going on, I mean, it takes me back to a little bit of like Howl's Moving Castle mechanics, right? Yeah.
Shout out to Peter Jackson, who's I guess he's on a comeback for after taking a long sabbatical from those Hobbits movies, which he deserved.
Yeah.
So
all the Tolkien.
All the Tolkien. All the Tolkien. That's gonna be his phrase now. My other one would probably have to be Happy, which is another Image book. It's based off of Grant Morrison and Derek Roberts. Really like perverse, really dark.
Oh, man.
Really dark comic. And I was happy to find out that when they it's another sci-fi show actually, and I was happy to find out that when they adapted it to television, that all the jacked up stuff was just kind of like was maintained. They kind of actually doubled down on some of it. And I'm very curious because the original story in the original season took place during Christmas. And it's essentially about a rogue cop who has an imaginary friend who's like this flying blue donkey. Like, it's really hard to explain, but it's deliberately bizarre. It's Grant Morrison. If you're familiar with Grant Morrison, it's going to be bizarre. But yeah, this season is going to take place during Easter, and I'm very curious about how they're going to branch out past those initial, I think it was like 6 or 5 issues, and make an ongoing series with these things. So yeah. I'm a big fan. I'm looking forward to Happy. It's just unhinged, and you know, you talk about you and post-apocalyptic. I just like the crazy stuff. That's all there is to it. So a lot of you might be wondering, what is Previews? What is Previews World? Hopefully a lot of you aren't. Previews has been around for a while. As a matter of fact, as a kid, I used to use it to flip through all the time and just to look at what was coming up to my local comic shop. But the cool thing about it is that you can use it to pre-order at your local comic shop. So here's a little video on how to use Previews.
So you want to be a superhero? Don't know where to begin? Let Previews be your guide. Previews is chock full of your recommended monthly allowance of comic book goodness. From comic books, graphic novels, trade paperbacks, and magazines, to games, trading cards, toys, novelties, and collectibles. You'll find everything you need to bolster your hero quotient. So where can you get all this wonderful stuff? Why, your friendly neighborhood comic shop, that's where. These pop culture havens are the perfect place to sate your appetites for 4-color graphic treats. Their shelves are literally bursting with the latest and greatest comics and related merchandise. Of course, there's so much packed inside Previews that your local shop can't possibly stock it all. Here's where you, Previews, and your comic shop can team up. Previews is like your very own crystal ball for comics. Peer within and you'll discover virtually everything that's anticipated to arrive in your local comic shop in the near future, often 2 to 3 months ahead of time. So when you're paging through the May issue, you're actually looking at comics and other items that are available in July and beyond. Now that you know the where and the when, all you need to do is choose what you want. And when you do, Previews can help you with that too. In each monthly issue of Previews, you'll find a handy short order form. Or ask your retailer for the Previews customer order form booklet for a complete listing of the products solicited that month. If you see something you want, you can pre-order it in advance directly with your store. Just jot down the comic books and merchandise you want, then pass it on to your comic book store retailer. They'll order it and let you know when it has arrived to pick up. It's that easy. And stop by regularly to see what's new in case you missed something you were yearning for or curious about. Don't want to miss out on your favorite comics? No problem. Most stores provide a pull and hold service. Every week before the new releases hit the shelves on Wednesday, they'll set aside the titles you subscribe to first and reserve them for you. No fuss, no worries. Simply pick the titles you want and pick them up when it's convenient for you. But don't let your books pile up. If not weekly, visit your store at least once a month and ask your retailer to toss a copy of Previews in your reserve box each and every month. So grab a copy of Previews now and put the POW in your hands. See what's new at comic shops at PREVIEWSworld.com.
And this is October's Previews catalog. You can see images of it behind me. It's got 2 covers, Mezco and Conan the Barbarian on the front. It's 600 pages of just amazing material, tons of stuff that you can pre-order from your comic shop. So be sure to pick it up, and you also have the option of checking it out on PREVIEWSworld.com/catalog. And speaking of comic shops, one last call to action.
Absolutely. Yep. As always, so we want you guys to tell us what your local comic shop is. Your favorite, whatever. If there's a great one you've got going on, let us know. On Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you can find us, use the hashtag #SupportYourLCS. And you could have a shout out featured on one of our shows.
Cool. And that's it for us this week. We'll be back next Wednesday and every Wednesday with Previews World Weekly. I am Troy Jeffrey Allen.
And I'm Thea, and we'll see you at the Spinner Rack.
Previews World! Did you enjoy this video? Then let's be friends! Follow Previews World by clicking that subscribe button so you don't miss any new content.